So hi everyone, my name is Mukul and I'm founder of this company called Scrap Uncle. And I was really excited and fascinated to see the theme of this event, and it directly clicked my mind that I have a lot to tell about the unveiling hidden layers of entrepreneurship. So from the visible progress to the hidden layers. So that would be my topic for today's talk. So I would start with a question. Um, so how many of you in the audience have heard the word startup or know what a startup is? Can you please raise hands? I think, so I can see many hands, right? Like almost every one of you know what startup is or have heard the word startup. So I'm sorry, I'll be throwing some words which might be jargons to you, but is very common for a entrepreneur or for a early stage startup founder. So any one of you, again I'll change the question. Any one of you have heard even a single word from these few ones which are present on the screen, like vesting schedule, or ESOPs, or ROFO, right of first refusal, or shareholders agreement? Please raise your hand. Even if you have heard a single word, not all words, a single term. So now I can see just a couple of hands, right? And that is the difference. So and it totally relates to our topic that we don't know a lot of things which are going at the background, right? So these words were very new for me as well, and it was very surprising that I never heard these words in any motivational YouTube video. That what is a shareholders agreement or what is a vesting schedule. And when you don't know about these things, you can make a lot of mistakes, like I did during my entrepreneurial journey. So uh, so you get to learn these words, and even in my journey, I come across many new words every day. And this is the reality of entrepreneurship. So I'll be talking about the things that generally people don't talk about, startups, and the reality of startups. uh, so as per my learning, founders should have basic knowledge of all key aspects of a business, be it HR, be it technology, be it marketing, be it finance, legal, endless number of aspects that are related to business. So you should have 50% knowledge of each aspect. You can't just hire people. You can't just say that I'll hire people who will do this for me. You should yourself know 50% of each aspect, and suppose you know 50% of each aspect, your cumulative knowledge would be 500%. Suppose there are 10 aspects, right? And then once you know about, once you have the cumulative 500% of knowledge, you can hire the people who are smarter than you and in a particular aspect, right? So you have to hire a CFO who is 100% in finance, but you should know 50% of it, right, to build a company. So that was a very key, important learning, that you should know everything. You just don't have a degree of a chartered accountant or a company secretary, but you have to know everything because you're signing documents. And all founders hate it, right? They don't want to be involved in compliances and be involved in MCA filings and all these things. But that's a part of the journey of a startup, and I've never seen it in a YouTube video, right? So you should, if you want to get into entrepreneurship, get started with having knowledge of all these aspects. Accumulating knowledge from the internet about all the key aspects of a business, be it hiring, be it marketing, everything. You should know digital marketing, how it works. You should know almost every aspect, right? Um, Second thing, simplest ideas can be the brightest ones. AI, ML is not always necessary. However, I took ChatGPT's help in deciding the idea, but yeah, still, you need not, push AI, ML in every idea, right? You can look for a simple problem, around you, and try finding a solution for it. If the market size is big and if the problem is really genuine, you can really make a huge business out of it. It all depends on the execution and your potential to execute that idea, right? Because I think we have a lot of non-tech crowd here. So it's not necessary to work on a tech idea. You can work on a simple idea, solve a simple problem around you, and make it huge. However, it should be tech-enabled because technology is a part and parcel of our life every day. So I'll tell you a bit about how the journey of Scrap Uncle started. So when I entered college, I come from a city called Sonipat. I was preparing for JEE and ended up, getting admission in IIIT Delhi. And when I entered college, I don't want to sound philosophical, but my parents never trained me for, they never told me that you're going there to get a job. So I thought, colleges are meant for learning, and then we decide what to do. So that's what I came, that was in my head, and I entered the college. And, I saw that, all my seniors are like crazy for placements. Like there is 0.001% audience which is not interested in placements. Most of them are like crazy for jobs. Then I decided, okay, I'll also do a job. And then I started, researching about the companies which are hiring my seniors, right? So I saw names like, Myntra, maybe Flipkart, Oyo, Ola, and all these companies were paying like, hefty 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs of packages to my seniors. So, I was very excited. I wanted to know what these companies do, who is the owner of the company and all those things. So then I, saw that, the founders of these companies are like of our age, like 2-3 years elder to us, or maybe sometimes even younger. And I was really curious, like if, someone, I could relate that, if someone young, coming from a small town can do it, then why should I not give a try to it, right? And that's what, ignited the entrepreneurship spirit in me. So I thought, let's give it a try. And, agar nahi hua, to then, we'll look for a job, but at least we should give it a shot, right? So, I started with a drone startup, given I have an electronics background and I was very, passionate about robotics as well. So I started with a drone startup, which eventually, we also got funds from grants from Lockheed Martin and, other organizations, but eventually didn't work out because my co-founders, they were interested in higher studies. So that was during the second year of our college. And as I told you, tech is not necessary. So after the drone startup, I was very fascinated about, products through which you can touch lives of millions of people, right? So I was really fascinated to see how Flipkart, how, all these products, Ola, Oyo, are able to touch lives of millions of people. So, I wanted to see my product making a huge impact and visible impact. When you see that data of hundreds of thousands of people, you are really excited, right? So I wanted to create something like that. So, I looked around, tried to figure out what, else is left to be taken online. Like everything was going online, and, there were huge businesses coming out of that. So, even milk was online, lenses were online, groceries were online. So then I found this sector, very exciting, which is reverse logistics, right? When a thing comes down the supply chain, how it goes back to the supply chain or back to the economy was running in a totally informal and offline manner. So I found this sector pretty, exciting because, it would allow me to make a huge impact on the society. Like it's a win-win, right? You're impacting the social, sector. You're helping the environment in a positive way, and also you're making the money for your own company, right? So you're empowering the, people from the informal sector. You are, improving their quality of lives and all those things. So I found it really exciting. Started researching on the topic. It was also somehow connected to my childhood because my maternal uncle, who was a scrap dealer, I used to visit his junkyard, during my 5th standard, 6th standard, and I would look for electronic components for my science projects and for my robots. So that's how, I had a little bit knowledge of the sector too. And, I started Scrap Uncle, that we should make it online. We should do the digitization and, gamification around this reverse logistics. So we are not just an app where you can sell your junk items. We have a lot of back-end, tech going on. Like when e-commerce came or when retail came, there were things like barcoding. There were things like, SOPs of warehouses, warehouse automation and all those things. So we are bringing all those things in the business of trash. So we are doing barcoding of trash, right? We are doing barcoding for recycling. So that's what we are doing, and that's how we started with Scrap Uncle. So it's a simple idea, right? Coming back to the topic, it's a simple idea, and you can just make good business out of a simple idea until and unless it's solving a very genuine problem for people around you, right? So other advice that I would give is fail fast. These are my learnings. When you fail fast, you should have an approach of pivoting until you arrive to a fine-tuned product. So don't fall in love with your idea, right? you should, just come with a basic jugadu, model of your product, which should work. You should not, work a lot. You should not waste, your time on decorating the, app, or, you should just think about the most basic version of your product that you can come up with and launch it and see the response from the market. So that allows you to fail fast, right? That you can just know whether people actually need it or not. Talk to your customers, talk to users, do, as much customer interviews, as you can. And you should do it all your life, right? Even if you are a billionaire. So, talk to your customers, refine your product, reiterate, rethink, and, then you come up with a final, decent product. So, we have a term called MVP in the startup ecosystem. It's called minimum viable product, which is the most basic jugadu version of your product that I was telling you about. So you will be surprised to see the MVP in our case for Scrap Uncle. So the idea of Scrap Uncle was an app where you can sell junk items, but you will be surprised to see the MVP, right? So our MVP was a pamphlet, which is the most jugadu version of our product. And this is the worst design that I've seen in my life. So crowded, full of text. I prepared it in 1 hour because that time I was not, I didn't have a great design sense. So, I just wrote everything that came to my head, and this was the basic version of our product, which is just a flyer. And we just, we are telling what we do. We have given the rates also on the back because we had it in our head that in the app we'll be giving the prices, beforehand to the customers. So we launched this MVP without, much money. I just spent 2,000 rupees in, printing these flyers. I myself went to the CR Park market, distributed the flyers there, and also, went to some houses, threw some flyers in the houses. So, after distributing 200 flyers, I was coming back home, and I got 7 calls while coming back home. Like, 7 people, they already wanted to use the, service. So I was not prepared for that. I was excited about the MVP, but I didn't think that, I'll just get a call on my way back home. So, then the second part of my MVP is me, myself. So that's me driving a truck. So, when I got the orders, I hired a truck. I drove the truck to the, people's houses and, picked up their trash myself. And so one thing was clear, that people require the product, right? I distributed 200, flyers and I got 7 orders, right? So, that made it very clear. I had some numbers, I had some data of the customers. On the day 1 itself, I had some revenue in hand, right? And that's how, you know that your product is required. Then I, talked to more people, spoke with a lot of users, and then, really felt that, this thing is required, we are solving a genuine problem. And this was the further version. Again, it's a very bad design. So this was the first version of our, app. Again, a bad design. So we were earlier called Swapico, and then we pivoted, we changed the name. So then this is the version 3. So version 1 was a pamphlet. Version 2 is this bad design. Version 3 is also not a great design, but still better than version 2, right? So you parallelly improve your product and parallelly grow the business, right? You should not just, I could have spent 6 months in making the app better and then I would have launched. So that would have wasted 6 months of my time without any revenue. I could not go to the investors, I could not pitch my product, and I would have just spent money on building the app. And then I would have got the first numbers. So it was better to distribute some pamphlets and get the numbers on the day 1. And this was a version 4. And then there were so many versions, and the product became better and better. And so yeah, talking more about hidden layers. So these were some pictures of the pickups that I did myself. I clicked some pictures with the customers. And these are the hidden layers that nobody sees, right? I think this is the first platform where I'm showing these pictures. All of you might have seen us on Shark Tank or any Joe Stocks or any other news platform. But nobody shows this reality, right? Me picking up. So this is my car with a lot of cardboard in it. And my parents were very angry that, seat cover faad diya. And, that's me with a lot of plastic. So, this is the real journey when you start, as a student without much money. So, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey filled with ups and downs. And, nobody talks about the dark side of entrepreneurship because, I don't want to demotivate any one of you, but, it is not an easy game, right? It's not easy to just, make a company. It's not easy to hire people in your own college or, hire people at such a young age, right? So you have to be, prepared for the downs of the entrepreneurship. You should have a lot of gratitude. Uh, so, there are so many things because, most of us are students here. So, if you're starting up as a student entrepreneur, you need to, leave all that partying or leave all that, unhealthy lifestyle. You have to really work hard. I used to fool myself during the college days that I have a startup, so I will not study. You should actually study with the startup to see how good you are at multitasking. Because you have to multitask all your life when you are running a company, right? So that's your first test of multitasking, that you have to get good grades and you have to also do well at your company. But I couldn't get good grades though. But yeah, but I passed all the courses. So, you have to manage your time effectively. You have to work really hard. I hear people saying that, we are doing a startup because we don't like a 9-to-5 job. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It becomes a, 7-to-2 job, right? From 7 in the morning to 2 at night when you're building a company. So you have to work really hard. You have to work harder than the topper of your class, right? If the topper is studying 14 hours, you have to, work 14 hours on your company. If you can be anything, be kind. And empath is already an entrepreneur. And, we are all students. We are all, tech savvy. If you understand business, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit in you, just do it. Do what you love. It's not necessary that if you are entrepreneurial, you should start a company. If you think that if you can't do it now, you go and work for a startup, right? That's my suggestion. You get to learn a lot when you work for a startup. It's a complete roller coaster, right? If you are in a core team of a startup, you are almost a founder or a mini co-founder, and you get to see all the ups and downs of building a company. And maybe 4 years down the line, you end up becoming a VP of a big giant company, right? When you grew a startup yourself. So it's not necessary to be an entrepreneur, or to have that entrepreneurial spirit to start your own company. You can even work for one, or I would say, go for it, start a company, or do whatever you love. If you want to be a musician, be a musician. But yeah, take care of, don't just be motivated by some random YouTube videos. Try to analyze the depths of what you are doing. Thank you.